Welcome to our next video on operations on string. In the previous videos, we have covered what is string, how it is stored inside a memory, how to declare a string, then how to read a string at compile time as well as runtime, and how to display a string on output screen. Then we have demonstrated all these concepts with a program also. Okay, now in this video we will cover one operation on string, that is to find length of a string. So our objective is the string is already stored inside a memory, and after storing a string we have to find out how many characters are there in a string. That is the length of a string. For example, suppose string is stored like this: ABCOE null. Okay, suppose this is a string. So we have to find how many characters are there. So in this particular string there is 1, A1, V, second, then 3, then 4 and 5. We don't have to count /0 because /0 is not a part of a string. It is not a part of user input, right? It is the termination of string. So we have to count only up to last character, that is up to E. So there are 5 characters A, B, C, O, E. Means length of this particular string is 5. So we have to do this with the help of C program. Now how to do this? So for that, in a program, first store one string by using compile time or runtime. Okay, mostly we will do at runtime. Okay, so we will store a string at runtime. Now after storing a string, then our program should count the length of string. After storing a string, our next work is to find the length of a string. Now for that do we will use very simple method. So before that, we already know whenever we store a string, this is the picture inside the memory. The string is stored like this, right? So our first character is accessed by the index as s of 0. 0 is the index. So first character is my s of 0. Second, that is v, means s of 1. C means s of 2. Then s of 3, s of 4 and s of 5 will be null character. Okay. So these are the indices of individual characters in a string, and these 1000, 1002 up to 1005, these are the addresses. Now what do we have to do here? We have to trace these indices. What we have to do here? We will use one simple variable, that is I. You can use any variable. I will use here I variable, I equal to 0. I equal to 0. So this is the initial stage, I equal to 0. Okay, and then observe what is s of I. What is s of I here? I 0. So what is s of 0? A. Okay, so if there is a character other than null, go for next one. If there is a character other than null character, go for next one. Okay, so what is s of 0 here? A. So is it a null? No. So there is no null at s of 0, means we have to go for second character. We have to go for second index. So what will happen here? After I equal to 0, we have to increase it. So after increasing, I will become 1. Okay, initially it was 0. Then observe what is s of 0. So s of 0 is A. It is not null character. Okay, so don't stop, go for next character. Go for next character means increase this index. So previously it was 0, now it will become 1. Now at this index also check a character, that is s of I. So what is I here? 1. So what is s of 1? V. Is it a null character? No. So again continue, go for next, go for next character. So now I will become 2. Again observe s of I, that is s of 2. Is it a null character? No, it is C. Means it is not a null character. Go for next. Now I will become what? 3. Again check s of 3. What is it? O. So again it is not a null. Go for next. I will become 4. Check s of 4. What is it? E. So again it is not null. Go for next. Now I is 5. Check s of 5. What is it? Null. Go. Okay. So whenever there is null, stop. Whenever you will get null character, you have to stop. So where my program will stop? My program will stop at I equal to 5. Right? My program will stop at I equal to 5. So means I have to just use one variable, start that variable from 0 and go on increasing the index, go on increasing the value of I, and while increasing I, at each step check a content of s of I, check content of s of I. So initially I equal to 0, check s of 0. What is it? A. So it is not null character. If there is no null, go for next. I equal to 1, check s of 1. What is it? V. So no null. Go for next. I equal to 2. What is s of 2? C. No null. Next. I equal to 3. S of 3 is O. Next. 4. S of 4 is E. Next. I is equal to 5. What is s of 5? Null. Stop. So I have to stop at an index where I will get null character. And whenever I will stop, that value of I will be length of a string. That value of I will be length of a string. So what is length of string here? 5, because I am stopped at I equal to 5. So that is the way to find out length of a string. Now this is explanation on paper, how to find the length of string with the help of one variable. Now implementation of this method in a program means this part, consider this part. So what we are doing in this part, we are starting from 0, that is we have taken one variable I, start it from 0 and go on increasing. Okay, but there is some condition to stop. And what is the condition? If that s of I is null, stop it. If that s of I is null, stop. Means this is just repeating I equal to 0, I plus plus, again I plus plus, again I plus plus, I plus plus, I plus plus. So we have to repeat it. So for that repetition purpose, we will use one loop. We will use a loop. You can use any loop. Okay, for loop or while loop. For simplicity, I will use for loop. Okay, so we will do this now in a program. So I will minimize this and open Turbo C. So this is our previous program. So I will modify the same program here. So this part is not required. Enter a string, this part is required because I have to find the length of string. So before finding a length, I have to enter a string. So this part is required. That is get s of s. That is required. Now, so see the program. Char s of 10. So one string is declared. Then screen is cleared. Then print a message on a screen, that is enter a string. Then enter your required string. So that entered string will be stored inside s. Now I have to find the length of string. Okay, and for that I am going to use one variable, that is I, and values of I will be starting from 0, then 1, then 2. We have to increment the value of I till I get s of I as null. So when I will get s of I null, I have to stop it. Okay, so I require one variable I, and the data type that of that I is integer, because it is going to store a values as 0 1 2 3 4 like this. Okay, so data type of I is int. Okay, so after entering a string, I will simply write one loop, that is for I equal to 0, that is initial condition, and up to what condition I have to increment I. The condition is if s of I is not equal to null character. If s of I, see the condition carefully, s of I not equal to null, it is not equal to, it is not equal to, right? So if this condition is satisfied, our loop will continue. If this condition is satisfied, our loop will continue. And what we have to do in a loop? Only I plus plus. That is the only thing I have to do. So I will terminate this for loop. I will terminate this for loop at this position only. There is no body for this for loop. See this carefully. There is no body for this for loop, because I don't have to do anything else. I have to just increase a value of I. Okay, there is no something that is to be done extra part. Just take I, initially I equal to 0, and go on increasing the value of I till we get null character. Okay, so how this loop will be executed? Initially I will become 0, then check the condition, is s of I null? If it is not equal to null, I plus plus. After I plus plus, again check the condition, is next s of I null? If it is not equal to null, again I plus plus. Again s of I not equal to null, again I plus plus. So this part will be repeated up to a condition or up to a value of I, whenever or when we will get a value of s of I as null. So when we will get s of I as null, at that point this loop will be terminated and it will processor will come out of the loop. Okay, so this I will be reached up to 5 for our example, that is EVCV. So after this, after termination from this loop, the value of I is now 5, and that is my length of string. So I have to just display that length. So for displaying the length, I will print something. So I have used here printf, then slash n, then length of string is equal to, and what is length of string? 5, and where that 5 is stored? Inside I. So here I have to print value of I. So for printing the value of I will use its corresponding format specifier, that is %d. Why %d? Because I is integer variable, right? So how it is printed? Length of string equal to %d. %d means value of. Value of what? I. And what is value of I? After this loop, 5. So the message will be printed like this: length of string equal to 5. So this is the length of our entered string, that is ABCD. So save this program, compile it. Okay, there are some errors. Illegal character. Okay, here some extra part is there. Save, compile. So now no errors. See what was the mistake? This was the mistake. I typed this double quote 2 times. Okay, so double quote, and inside a double quote slash n length of string equal to %d, and then double quote complete and comma. Okay. Save, compile, and now run this program. Enter a string. So enter ABCD. See the output. Length of string equal to 5. A B C O E 1 2 3 4 5. So there are 5 characters. So that is the correct output. So we will try for different input. Enter a string. uh, I will enter some another string. Okay. India is my country. This is the string. India is my country. So how many characters are there? India 5, one space 6, then is 2, that is 8, again space 9, my 2, 11, again space 12, and country contains 7. So 12 plus 7, 19. See, length of string equal to 19. So again I am getting the correct output, that is length of string equal to 19. So our logic is correct. Okay, so this is the way to find out length of a string. See the program carefully. This is the part which is finding the length of string. Only one for loop is there. Very simple, only one for loop. For I equal to 0, semicolon, s of I not equal to null, semicolon, I plus plus, and termination. Here is the termination because we don't have to do any other activity. We have to just increase the value of I. That's it. That's why we have terminated here. Generally, for loop contains some body part. There are some statements, but this for loop doesn't have any statement in a body. So this loop is terminated here. And after this for loop, print the value of I, and that is our required length. Okay. Now this is the way to find out the length of string manually. Okay. Now in C language there is one inbuilt library function which directly gives you the length of string, That function is strlen, string length. So that function will directly give you length of a string. Instead of doing this for and these things, you can directly use that strlen. But we should know the concept. That's why this manual method is also necessary to be understood. Okay. So this is about finding the length of string, and whatever that function is there, that is the inbuilt library functions. We will cover all these inbuilt library functions in one program. That is strlen, strcat, strcmp. All these library functions we will cover in separate video. Right now, only consider manual method of finding length of string. So that's it about finding the length of string. Now from this program, remember this loop. For I equal to 0, s of I not equal to none, I plus plus. This loop is very important because this loop is used to traverse a string. Because what we are doing here, we are starting from I equal to 0, means we are starting from first character of a string, first index of a string, and we are reaching up to null. So we are ending at last character of a string, that is the index of last character of a string. So this thing, that is this for loop, is required for many operations. So remember this part, this for loop. We will going to use this for loop for other operations also. Okay. So thank you. We will stop here and we will cover the remaining operations in next subsequent videos. Thank you.